Well, it's back to school. Back to school, not only for the schools, the high schools, the elementary schools, private schools, and colleges, but also for the Taconic Learning Center. It is back for their fall session. And once again, joining us as they always do when these sessions start are both Tom Gruenewald and Larry Rand. Tom and Larry, welcome and welcome to fall.
Aha, thank you. Thank you, Marshall.
The first day of fall, indeed, coming soon. Yeah. So thank you so much, Marshall.
All right. Well, once again, we move on here with the Taconic Learning Center for the courses coming up this year. Now, first things first, I'll get right out of the way. The courses are once again partially some virtual and some in person?
That's correct.
All right.
We'll describe what they are as we go.
All right. And once again, the website for the great thing about the web nowadays, if you were to just type in Taconic Learning Center, it will come up, but taconiclearningscenter.org. Okay. So why don't we start off? And I guess we will start off with you. I always say this, whenever we speak about this course, I always say, wow, it's going to be an interesting, well, once again, wow, it's going to be an interesting course this term.
I would say double wow to that one. Yes, indeed. The past term of the United States Supreme Court is probably the most controversial one since about 1933, 34. That's almost 90 years ago. And that was when the Supreme Court was overturning New Deal measures. And this past term, the court has emphasized religion over free speech. It has emphasized the limitations of government agencies like the EPA. And, of course, it overturned Roe v. Wade. There's all sorts of things to discuss in this case, and I'm teaching it, and it's on Zoom Mondays at 10 in the morning.
It's interesting, Larry, before we move on, you have a conservative Chief Justice who has tried his darndest over the past 2 years to keep the court in order. And due to some of the conservative justices, not the Chief Justice, it's been very hard for him. But that's what I think. This is what makes your course so interesting for people, because if you want to complain about the Supreme Court, take this course and learn a little bit more about it.
Indeed.
Yeah, it's just that simple. All right. Well, we've got that course underway, and Tom, what are you going to talk to us about here?
Well, we have a new instructor. It's been the same old folks for the last couple of years, and Lynn Mattoon is teaching a class. She studied philosophy and majored in philosophy at Wellesley. She got a Ph.D. in philosophy from Yale. She's taught philosophy and literature at the University of Michigan, the University of Arizona, Deerfield Academy, and Hotchkiss School. And her question, she asks the question, what is true? How ought we to live? Does life have a meaning? And she points out that after being at boarding schools for 25 years, she's happy to be here in Sharon. The title of her course is Morality Tales, the short stories of Tolstoy and Flannery O'Connor. And it is going to be live at Noble Horizons on Tuesdays from 10 until noon. 6 sessions from September 13th through October 18th.
I want to move on to the next course. And what's interesting about this is with the death of Queen Elizabeth II, basically, even though she was a young girl then, she was first burst upon the British scene back then. The presidency of Harry Truman.
Indeed, and that's true. And Bob Rumsey, who has been a stalwart instructor for us for the last couple of years, is doing 2 courses this term, and one of them is the presidency of Harry Truman. Few presidents have had so many confrontations or difficult questions to answer as Harry Truman. And just to name a few, you've got the atomic bomb question, whether to use it or not. You've got the Korean War and what to do about that. You've got the Marshall Plan and the Truman Doctrine as an attempt to rescue Eastern and other parts of Europe from the onslaught of communism after the war. This was a tumultuous presidency, and Bob is going to give a Zoom course on this on Tuesdays from, actually we changed the time here, on Tuesdays from 2 in the afternoon to 4 in the afternoon. And there are 8 sessions, and it starts September the 13th, this coming Tuesday.
Another course, The Future Ain't What It Used to Be.
Oh, Jerry Jamin at it again. His class is on Wednesdays from 10 to 11 on Zoom, starting September 14th through October 14th, the 5 sessions. The future ain't what it used to be, and he's quoting Yogi Berra for that. The night before the first day, there was fear, the dreaded Y2K fear that the New Year's ball dropped in Times Square. A programming glitch would cause all computers to seize up, and planes would fall out of the sky, trains would stop running, hospital systems would shut down, and patients would die, and maybe the whole world would come to an end. Okay, and Jerry says sometimes nothing is the best outcome. The whole deal turned out to be a big snooze until Wisconsin beat Stanford in the Rose Bowl. And the 21st century was off and running. And that's where we'll begin. There's no telling how it will end. And join Jerry for the Zoom class on Wednesdays if you want to find out.
Hey, what's fun about that is on that day, January 1st, that day, I stayed on the air from 12 to 1 just in case the world ended. That's a true story. And it didn't. And there's some people that are very happy, and there's some people that are not so happy. Okay. I love these courses. There's such a mix of courses. The next course we'll talk about marginalized Americans, Asian Americans.
Well, for the past several years, I have been giving documentary film courses on marginalized Americans. And this time, we're going to do one on Asian Americans. And I might add that Kathy Robinson, the president of TLC, was the one who suggested trying Asian Americans as the next subject for this series of courses. So I'll be giving the course at Noble Horizons. It'll be a live course on Thursday, starting this coming Thursday, at 10 o'clock in the morning, and we will be examining both the contributions that Asian Americans have made to the American experience and the degree to which they have been discriminated against, which is significant.
You know what's interesting about seeing the course, if you go through the creation of this country right up to current days, and it'll go into the future, there are so many in our blending pot of stew that has become America. There are so many marginalized segments of the population simply because the United States is that mixing pot, and that's what makes this course, I think, so interesting.
Thank you.
Let's go on to Shakespeare, because there's nothing but interesting stuff with Shakespeare.
Yes, and Bob Rumsey is again doing the Shakespeare class. The plays he's dealing with this time, and this is a 2 to 4 p.m. class on Zoom. He's dealing with Hamlet, Twelfth Night, and King Lear, in that order. Hamlet and King Lear have been called, according to Bob, the twin peaks of Shakespeare's achievement in tragedy. Madness is central to both plays. In Hamlet's case, pretended. In Lear's, actual. In Hamlet, the dramatic pressure is internal. In Hamlet's response to his intolerable personal situation. In King Lear, the pressure is more external, and Lear responds to a world that is evil. for light relief, the tragedies will be bookending Twelfth Night, the most musical of all Shakespeare's plays, and you get your comedy, Malvolio, the bad guy in this one, although he's very funny. He says he is sick of self-love, and we'll prove that with Bob Rumsey. The text of the plays will be scrolled on the screen. Remember, it's on Zoom starting September 16th, 8 sessions from 2 until 4.
Now, if people are out there listening now, the fall sessions began September 12th. But the great thing about this is people can join into these sessions today, tomorrow, or the next day. I mean, there is no cutoff of registration.
Correct. And if you miss a class, every class pretty much is going to be available recorded, and you can. Certainly the Zoom classes, and you can access that on the Taconic Learning Center website. And how to do that is very clear when you're on the website.
Speaking of access, I wanted to mention that all of you who are listening, if you so desire, can access a very good article written by Cynthia Hochschwender in this week's Lakeville Journal, and it is in the Compass section on page B1, and it's all about Bob Rumsey and his Shakespeare course.
And of course, if you're listening and you want more information, like I said, in today's internet, it's very simple. If you were to just type in a search bar, Taconic Learning Center, it'll come up. But you can the actual address taconiclearningscenter.org. And once you're there, you've got all the quick links to go to where you need to go to register. And remind people that it's a membership thing. Let's talk about the membership and what it gets you when you join.
Well, anyone can join. Yeah. We urge people and request people to do a $60 contribution tax deductible, and you can do that online. We have expenses. Yeah. We have audio and even now video expenses. And we have to pay the venues. Zoom is on. We have a charge for that, and we have where we're going to be at Noble Horizons.
You know what's interesting about the Taconic Learning Center, and as I sit here and I talk to both you, Larry, and Tom, and we talk about the courses. People have to remember that as a nonprofit, this nonprofit was set up so people can keep using their mind and keep active and keep learning. There's no reason why you can't keep learning and discover new things. And I think that's what makes the Taconic Learning Center so special.
I agree with you, Marshall. I have been amazed at the degree to which our members are so eager to learn and the degree to which they contribute to all our classes. It's been a wonderful experience. I've been involved with it since about 2006, and I couldn't encourage people more to join up. And with that membership, you have the right to take any number of classes you want for the whole year.
You know, and when you look at it, when physicians talk about keeping your health up, they talk about an active body is always a healthier body. Well, guess what? An active mind is always a healthier mind, and it keeps you more involved, not only in this, but it's been a proven fact in other aspects of your life as well.
Yeah, and it certainly affects the instructors. Yeah. They keep us, Taconic Learning Center certainly keeps our minds busy as we prepare for these classes.
Well, once again, more information is at taconiclearningscenter.org. I always look forward for the quarterly Tom and Larry show, or the Larry and Tom show coming up. It's always great to speak to you guys, because I know when I speak to you guys, it's a change of season.
Thank you, Marshall.
very
It's been
much,
great talking
Marshall.
with you as always.